Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how can we make a discourse analysis like the one we've made in cultural studies. So let's get started. So before starting, I would like to give you an overall idea about the story of the yellow wallpaper. The narrator of this story is the author, okay? And it is the person who suffers from the nervous condition. She's an unnamed character, it's just general idea. She gave a birth to a child and then she suffered from a nervous condition, and then she is obsessed with this yellow wallpaper. She hated first, but then she started liking it. And her husband doesn't consider her opinion when she told him that the yellow wallpaper was bad and that she doesn't like it. So then she started kind of like she doesn't know how to express herself. So she resolved to writing as a way to make her comfortable and to express herself there. So this is the general idea, and if you'd like to have more details, you can go through it and read it. It's just a small story. So yes, now let's get started. And here, as you see in the screen, there is a summary of an essay. It's an essay basically that has a feminism or a feminist approach view. So basically this is an essay that is being took from a part on the story. And yes, let's get started. So here, for example, this is an introduction of the essay. And in this introduction, there has been a clear description of the feminism view. So basically this introduction is applicable to any essay as it has like the general idea. For example, let's see here. And the story The Yellow Wallpaper, written by Charlotte Picken, there is a strong sense of feminism view. A young married woman suffers from a disease. As I told you, she suffers from a nervous condition like depression. The doctor, her husband, the doctor John, tries to cure her from when, in fact, in the presence of his superiority and knowledge, it leads her to hide her feelings and ultimately become more sick. This short story is a perfect example of the struggle of a young woman in a complicated circumstances. This introduction has a general idea and it can be used actually on any essay because it has like the global idea of the feminist view that is in this short story. So yes, now and this second paragraph of the essay is starting more to get into some details. Like it states, the boredom of the house that this couple has just moved into is decorated with terrible yellow wallpaper and this one of the divine force behind her. Historical actions. So you must pay a small attention here as this part here, part 2, is taken from a part on the short story, and it cannot be used or implemented to all essays. This one here can, and it's totally fine, but the second one cannot. And so yes, for example here, it states like historical actions. She sees a woman behind the hideous pattern, and it turns out that she is the woman trying to break free of the pattern. Her husband denied her request to change the wallpaper, and that is a perfect example of her repressed feelings. So here we state, as I told you before, her husband do not consider her opinion as something valuable. So he's the superior, he thinks he knows everything and she has nothing to say, she has nothing to do, he's the upper hand. And the feeling that if expressed might cure her. Deep down she writes, as I told you, she writes as a way to express herself on her paper and tells her true feelings about how she's to trust and obey her all-knowing husband. So she wants her husband to trust her, so she tried to obey him as a way of gaining this trust. She knows he loves her and earnestly believes he is trying to help. So she earnestly believes he's trying to help here. Like we never even the action, his action here, husband action, is not good. So she believes he's loving her and he's doing this for her benefit. But the only way he thinks she can get better if she does the thing he thinks. So she thinks that she can be better if she does the thing he told her. That is just the thing that keeps her sick. And these things that he told her to do, which is basically no physical or mental effort, these things actually make her in a dangerous way and make her feeling actually more bad. But she has nothing to say, so she just accepts. So if you pay attention here actually to the language using in this essay, they just again give another general idea, and they use the present tense as to express the idea. For example, here she sees, she denies, she writes. You can see her, and the third paragraph here, it's more detailed, and it's such a kind of like describing and analyzing the discourse of, this one is a discourse of page 10, this page here, page 10, and on the short story, this one here, as you can see. For example, the little girl. So her husband John says things like, "What is it, little girl? Don't go walking around like that, you'll get cold." Here he described her as in the third person because he stated it. You'll get cold. So, and here as well, like, bless her little heart. So he used the third person here as well. So he treats her as if she were a child who could not think for herself. And basically, that's what he do. By stating little, this is an adjective, a quantifier that states something small. And yes, on the other notes, writing is one of the things that helps her a great deal, and John hates her to write because he says it exhausts her. So he think on her behalf again just because he knows what is good for her. He shares her needs, which are the very thing that could make her well again. So as I state again here, there is a description of some phrases. You can put in the exam some phrases between some quotation marks like here, and then you put the description of them. Okay? Put description, those for example are in the third person, first person, and so on. As for the part 4, it hasn't record like. So the professor asked us to have like more linguistics analysis, like you analyze the language. This part doesn't include this linguistic analysis, so I will share with you this one. The link of both those two will be in the description box for sure. So here we have a quotation that basically the narrator had used. And it states, if a physician of high standing and one's own husband assure friends and relatives that there is really nothing that matters with one but temporary nervous depression, a slight hysterical tendency, what is one to do? What is one to do is a question, and here you must kind of like write this one into your essay and analyze it, because you analyze the language. And it is an interrogation after a sentence which states like, what is one to do? She has nothing to do. She's unable to do anything. So we have here the interpretation. Even though the narrator does not believe that John's diagnosis is correct, she does not openly question it. And in this case, the husband has the ability to control the perception of his wife to his own advantage. This shows how the wife never has any true control even of her individuality. So as you see here, she has no control over her individuality, and it is clearly stated in her sentence. Another sentence here the narrator uses is that she keep saying John says, John would, John does. So, these phrases show the narrator's loyalty and trust of John before she is driving insane. She believes that what John says is true. Her unquestionable loyalty to John exposes her to determined impact of submission. She's bad. And another phrase here is this one. The oppression and patriarchal nature of marriage here is clearly stated, because the narrator never actually received anything she fancied. Whenever she mentioned a fancy, she is quickly followed by a statement that resets the husband's control in the marriage. This statement exposed the injustice and inequality within the so-called sacred union of marriage. Oh, this is a wonderful phrase, a wonderful one. You can use it in your essay whenever you state something, or you state a quotation that is on the paragraph if the professor gave it to us in the exam. So you basically use this one. It's a beautiful sentence, well structured, it clearly states many ideas. You can use it. One is the conclusion, and it can be used at any essay. For example, if you write your essay, you can use it, but please rephrase it so like this you would not have all of you like you have the same answer. Do not copy and paste. So the story was written in a time where the feminism movement was very prevalent. The way that gentleman by the way is the writer, relate the women sickness to her husband dominance is a perfect example of a feminine thought. In answer to the question, yes, the yellow wallpaper is an extreme feminism work in a beautiful and frustrating way. As I state, it is an example of struggle that was a victory in a way because she tore down the wallpaper, but a failure because she was still sick, ultimately leaving one to think about the bitter sweet trials and tribulation of women in that time period. So that was everything. I hope you had enjoyed. That was beneficial for you. Everything will be left in the description box below, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video with your friends so that everyone will benefit. See you next time.